So, the night after WrestleMania, you're finally going to make your big television debut. Monday Night Raw is still, the show.
Yeah.
Uh, just to add context, the NWO is not a thing yet. So, there is a Nitro, but the NWO is going to debut the next month.
Yeah.
And Brett's out of here now. He's going to take a little bit of a leave of absence. Shawn is the new champ. And this is before the night after WrestleMania became the super show that it is now.
Right.
And when you come out to take on Bob Holly, there's really no reaction, especially compared to the big reactions you would have in the future. Do you think fans were, you go back and you look at the Undertaker's debut, and little kids were scared.
Yeah, sure.
They didn't know what to think. They just knew they'd never seen anything like this before. Do you think there was quote unquote heat? They knew you were a bad guy. They're feeling it out. They're not too sure. Is it Cactus Jack? Is it not? How did it feel to you come into the ring as far as your reception?
To this day, I still have differences of opinion with people who think the heel's main job is to get heat. I've always believed in interest. And that's why we see, like, you're looking around your room here, you got Warrior and Hogan babyface match. So we've got a lot of great babyface matches that have main evented not only WrestleMania but all kinds of pay-per-view main events or house show main events, babyface on babyface, even heel on heel, because they've created the interest. So I realized that when I went out and I was doing independence, there was a guy dressed as like a Pink Panther doing a gay gimmick in West Virginia. And of course that's going to get heat.
Of course.
And so conceivably I could have been the guy in the Pink Panther outfit doing a gay gimmick, which was, that was a heat-getting gimmick in 2022. But I didn't think it was heat. I thought, there was a certain type of heat, but I thought that interest trumps heat.
Oh, for sure.
So I was not as worried about I didn't perceive it as a lack of heat because I felt like people were interested. And then within an hour coming out of the crowd or the aisle to attack The Undertaker created a lot of interest right away.
Yeah, so later that night, the main event spot on Raw, it's going to have you make The Undertaker look human. You beat the hell out of him, and the show ends with that historic elbow off the ring, crashing into the camera. Taker's in the aisleway, and it's probably one of the most well-shot scenes in the history of the company. Did you guys have that shot in mind in walkthroughs that day, or all along, or did it just happen?
Well, Kevin was really on board from day one with the camera shots. Jackie Crockett had done a great job in WCW of making it look like I was coming down into people's living rooms. And that's what Vince and Kevin Dunn did. Now it's a given that guys will go around, they'll know the big shots, and they'll try to, Kevin gets knocked for a lot of swirls and
the quick cuts.
But I'll take the quick cuts over the a minute at a time on the hard camera any day. I love the cuts. And then they go back, and when they know something has looked great, then they go back and they show you that other angle. So they want to limit that groaner that gets in the way of the magic that we create. If someone wants to argue the cuts are too quick, that's fine. But they do go down and they get the best camera shots that are possible. And so I don't know if I said it looks great with a low camera or whether they already realized that, but they shot it tremendously. It looked great. Undertaker sold it like $1 million. He's foaming at the mouth, and DDP, he called Eric Bischoff back in the days of the telephone. He said, "Bish, that's going to draw." And I think it was apparent to WCW that WWE was onto something because immediately WCW started showing videos with Cactus Jack losing to every possible person because I think they realized,
Bischoff 101.
Yeah, this is we're going to try to cut this guy off at the knees because that's going to work.
So you weren't so sure about this character as we head in here, and you've been told that, Vince doesn't really like the promos. But man, closing Raw the night after WrestleMania with such an iconic shot on such a big talent in the Undertaker. When that night's over, you mentioned that you called your wife. You had to feel at least a lot better.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I hated the mask. I was hoping what we did was strong enough that I could segue it into a Cactus Jack run. But I realized that what we had done was pretty substantial. And now, to make this relevant to the people watching the new, the newer product, I wonder what would happen to me if 11 and a half years into my career, if instead of coming out and jumping the Undertaker in my first match, if I'd been sent to developmental for 3 years. I think it would have shattered my confidence and made me
The same.
much more similar to everyone else, so that I wouldn't have stood out the same way that in WWE, the heyday when they were picking the best guys from each territory.
Everyone was different.
Jake came in, he had his own style. Randy Savage had his own style. Everyone was different. Snuka had worked Portland, Japan, the Carolina. Like, everyone had their own thing. And now you put us all into like a beautiful assembly line, but it's
a factory.
Yeah, it's a factory where you're encouraged to learn their playbook, and I think you lose a little bit of the uniqueness that makes wrestling so great, and also you mess with. I just think when it's been proven that you could take AJ Styles and Premier him at Royal Rumble, the idea of putting seasoned veterans in developmental can be detrimental to
To their career, to the company, to the business.